What's going on, fam? Josh here, back in the dojo. So today I'm going to take you through a little bit of my workflow on Midjourney. Before I get into this, let me just say this: as great as AI is, some people may feel that AI is a bit controversial, right? It's still in some people's art, some people's style, some people's flow, and stuff like that. And I get that, right? But I guess on the other side of that coin, right, how I look at creativity is, a lot of art is borrowed. Most of your favorite artists have favorite artists that they look up to, they looked up to at some point. They looked at the style of their work, their color grading, how they do their music, whether it's film, how they do dialogue and stuff like that. So every artist is inspired by other artists. So while I'm not encouraging you to completely rip off people that you look up to, right? But at the same time, the same way Quentin Tarantino looked up to, I forget the writers and directors that he looked up to, and he didn't rip off their styles, but if you look at his movies, you can see like replicas of things he put together. You know what I mean? Shots he put together, dialogue, different things like that. And that happens across the board. So I want to just say that to say, AI in and of itself is not unethical. It's a tool. Same way you have a camera, right? And multiple directors, multiple photographers have the same cameras. Same way you have certain microphones, certain lights, right? They're just tools. Tools don't necessarily make you a great artist, but you need the tools to deliver your message, right, to create your art and stuff like that. So I look at AI the same way. It's not that just because AI is so amazing, it is amazing that your work is going to be great. You want to, for the most part, use these tools to do what you would normally do with any other tool, and that's to find your voice as a creative. So as we go through this workflow, and this is just my workflow, I'm pretty sure other artists have similar workflows, and some may have vastly different workflows. But I'm going to just show you a piece of my workflow. Now, when I'm making an AI film, my workflow usually goes goes like this. I start with a script in ChatGPT, which is part of the workflow. And again, the only part of the workflow we're going to go through today is Midjourney. I'll start with a script and prompt it certain ways and comb through it certain ways so that I get the feel of the dialogue or the narration that I want. That's part one. From there, I'm going to go over to Midjourney or Pinterest actually, and find source images, right? So if you look up here, you can see today we're going to use a few source images, right? Well, actually just one, right? I think if I just keep it simple, it'll drive the point home even more. And what I'm going to teach you is how to create a shot, a picture, right? So once I find source images from Pinterest, I'll take those over to Midjourney, which I'm going to show you today, and take it through a process of image prompts and style references, right? And once you combine the two, you'll be able to get pretty much any picture or any look, any feel that you want, right? Without ripping people off, but you will be using their images as motivation, right? As inspiration. From there, I'll take those images, take them over to Runway, make those images videos, and then I'll find a voice on 11labs.io, program the voice, tweak the voice how I want it, and put it all together in CapCut, edited, color graded, add, sound design, transitions, and all that cool stuff, text if need be, and all that. And that's how I create, my films. That's a general workflow. So without further ado, let's get into this. So one, let me just say that Midjourney is amazing. It used to be solely on Discord, which was fine, but it kind of, the user interface was not pleasing to me. So I kind of shied away from it, but they've done many updates, and now they have a dedicated website for Midjourney. And again, this is where you create your images, right? So now, image prompts are basically, let me take you here, right? Image references, right? Use elements of an image, right? So what we're talking about, placement, composition, etc. So if you're trying to find a source image, right, and you like, I like this picture right here. If you put this in this prompt box right here, essentially what you're doing is telling this prompt that you want something similar. You want a minimalist photo, grass at the bottom, a barn in the middle, right, and a lot of sky behind it. If you were to use this image, you're telling it you want something that looks more similar to this, neon lights, gas station type look, old school, right? It's basically the placement and the composition. Where is the building? Where is the person? Where is the car placed, right? In reference to like your shot. This right here, to drive the point home even more, is another example. Grass in the front, a house far away, wide shot, and then a sky behind it, right? This is simply you using image references, is simply you telling Midjourney how you want the shot to look for the most part, okay? Now, when we talk about style references is referring to the color of the shot, right? The color, the textures of the shot, the mood, the feel, right? And when you combine these two, there's endless possibilities, right? They also have another feature which is called character references, but since we're just doing like the shot, we won't incorporate character into this. We'll just incorporate image prompts and style, right? So, right, and then you also different style horror. So this would give it more of like a cinematic horror look and stuff like that. So let's play around with this for a little bit, right? So what we're gonna do is come over here to Midjourney, and I already have these images uploaded. So I'm gonna take this barn, for example. I'm gonna take this, drag this right over to image prompts, and again, this is me simply telling Midjourney I want an image similar to this, right? As far as style, right, we're going to use went to Pinterest, source some images from Wes Craven. So we're going to take those and throw this red one up in here, for example. Now, we won't go into super detail with the prompts because prompts can get super detailed. And I also have some templates that I use, so I could just copy and paste and not have to like write things over and over again. But I'm going to come here, right? This is the image that I'm looking for, the frame that I'm looking for, and this is the style as far as color and stuff like that I'm looking for. So I'm going to go over ChatGPT. We'll do a quick prompt, right? So let's say in this image, I want, one thing I always do is start here, ChatGPT, enhance this AI generation prompt from Midjourney, right? So copy that, paste that jammy right there, and then I'll give it a bit of a description of what I'm looking for, right? Enhance this AI generation prompt from Midjourney. Let me see. For an old barn in the middle of a field. And then I'll say sometimes in the style of Wes Anderson, right? And I'm using Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson is a fantastic director, fantastic filmmaker. And I'm using Wes Anderson because his style is so prominent and so in your face that it's just it'll drive the point home even more. You'll understand how this concept works. You could do it in the style of Wes Anderson, in the style of anime, in the style of like Quentin Tarantino, in the style of Stephen King. Anything you want, right? You can put in here. All right, so we're just gonna say, simply put, in this enhance this AI video generation prompt for Midjourney for an old barn in the middle of a field in the style of Wes Anderson, right? And I'm keeping it super simple because you can get really intricate, and I encourage you to get intricate with this so you can separate yourself and develop your own style. But we're going to keep it simple right here, right? So this is what we came up with, right? So we're going to copy this. I'm not even really going to read it. We're going to copy this, paste this jammy up here, right? So an old rustic barn in the middle of a golden open field. Symmetrical composition, warm pastel palette, vintage textures, whimsical atmosphere, soft lighting with long shadows, clear blue sky, da 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 da. All right. And so what I'm going to do, I want to get this going, and then I'm going to add slight tweaks so you can see how you can tweak your own images. So before we go, you want to come up here to settings, right? Now we're using version 7. Okay. These are the previous versions. Version 7 is relatively new. We're going to do raw, right? If you come here, you can say raw mode replaces the default aesthetic of some Midjourney model versions. Using it can help you create more photorealistic images, so cinematic scenes, or what did I say? Or cuter characters. Okay, so we're going to go raw with the joint. right? We're gonna keep it on version 7. This right here is your image size. If you wanted to do, different aspect ratios, you can do that here: square, portrait, landscape, and as you can see, anything in between. 9:16 would be like for our phones and stuff like that, TikToks and all that good stuff. But we're gonna go with the traditional 16:9, which is how we see most videos. This right here, the aspect ratio I'm filming in right now is 16:9. Over here, aesthetics is where we go into stylization, weirdness, and variety. Now on version 7 at this point, because they're releasing things slowly, you can't mess with the weirdness. So basically, the higher the stylization is, influences how strongly the Midjourney aesthetic is applied. Low stylization values produce images that closely match the prompt but are less artistic. High stylization values create images that are very artistic but less connected to the prompt. So we're just gonna keep that at a hundo. It's usually where I keep it at a hundo, right? Weirdness, we won't mess with that because we can't in version 7. And other versions and previous versions you can. And variety will just give you a variety of images. You can do about, I think, 4 images at one time. It produces 4 images at one time. If you keep the variety low, the images will be similar, but if you bump that thing all the way up, each image will sort of be like vastly different, right? And then we have the modes of speed. We're just gonna do it in fast speed. Relax mode provides unlimited image generation and is available on the standard plain or higher. Fast will rock out with in turbo, right? So with all that said, those are our settings, and they got a lot of bells and whistles in the joint, all that are super easy to break down. You can talk to your prompt, so if you didn't want to type things out, you can actually have a conversation with it. But we're gonna keep it right here. So we'll go ahead and get that rolling. And you'll see, once this pops up, we should have an image of a barn, right, based off the picture. And it should be in the style of this right here, or at least take some influence from this image right here. Let's go ahead and blow this thing up. All right. And as you can see, it took the prompt that we had, the image reference that we had. I think it's still loading. The image reference that we had. There it is. And made a new image, right? It found inspiration from our image, our style, and our reference, right? Now let's go ahead and change this a bit. Right, we can click on that. It'll reintroduce the prompt. Let's add the same barn, right? But let's go with a different look, right? Let's add this picture right here, right? Which is a car. It's very blue, dark, a bit moody. Let's go ahead and run that back. We'll keep the same settings. We'll run that back. And we'll see how the image changed a bit, right? We kept the same picture, same prompt, but we changed the style a bit. And as you can see, we have bluer tones because we changed the style. We adjusted the style, which I think is amazing. Boom. So as you can see, similar barn, similar aesthetic, similar frame, similar composition, right? But now it has a more moody blue tone to it because we changed the style. Just to bring the point home one more time, right? Again, we'll click that. We'll come here. We'll add the same image, right? Let's do something. Let's do something vastly different. Let's play around with some stuff. So we'll go with a black and white, surrealish looking photo, right? We'll hit that, and boom. And just like that, you see, right? Similar barn, similar aesthetic as far as the minimalist looking shot, the barn in the middle, right? But now it's a bit muted. It's more black and white. It's a bit gritty, right? So you can see at this point what I mean, right? How you can make these adjustments based on images that you find inspirational.